Yeah, we're live. Okay, so I just did this stream and I think I did something wrong. This is my first time doing this. So I'm redoing it and I think I have to do the whole thing from all over again. So yeah, this is just a test of the live stream and I'm using OBS to stream and testing things like link using NDI from my iPhone and so on. And I needed an excuse to talk about something. I'm doing this because I'm testing this actually for our client's project who wants to do a podcast and maybe also go live, talk about something related to business in the Middle East. Coming to you from Amman, the capital of Jordan, where we're also locked down, like most of the rest of the world. And so I've been doing some spring cleaning of my home office. I usually work from home, so the lockdown wasn't any different for me. Um, and So I'm really used to sitting at home and working. But I've, over the years, I accumulated so much junk in this office. We moved in here 10 years ago, and um, and today I decided that it's spring, and that's just I needed to do some really deep spring cleaning and go into my storage room, which is like the room that's behind me there, and just take out all the boxes and just start sorting through things and throwing away stuff. So um, I'm a bit of a technology hoarder. I think I hoard a lot of. I mean, I have so many cables, so many. I mean, I have like just a bag full of just power transformers and so on. But I opened some really old boxes today, and this thing here, this piece of tech here appeared. The RAM music machine, and you might be wondering what this is, and to tell the story about what I mean, to tell you the story of this device slash accessory. I mean, this thing here looks almost like reminds me of a PCI Express expansion card. Um, so yeah, I need to take you back to the 80s and to tell you a little bit about my computer history. So my first computer was actually this one here, the ZX81, and this was a while Apple in the US was coming out with the first Apple computer, the Apple II, or their first popular kind of home computer. In the UK, something else was going on. A company called Sinclair Research, and anybody who is into retro tech knows about this thing, knows about these things. So I'm not going to a full history of this machine, but this had 1 kilobyte of RAM, so 1024 characters, and that's it. And then you could buy a 16 kilobyte expansion card, and suddenly it's like upgrading your RAM today from whatever whatever 1 gigabyte to 16 gigabyte in one go, um, or you do the math anyway. So that was my first computer, and I actually got it a little bit late here in Jordan, which I got it in 1984. I was 14 at the time, and I started getting into computers, and just getting this first computer was just amazing. You hooked it up to your TV, and suddenly you could learn basic, and you could play some simple games on its black and white display. Soon after that, I convinced my parents that I wanted to upgrade, and I upgraded to this also machine, also from Sinclair, which is the Sinclair Spectrum, and this had color. I mean, you can see the rainbow sticker on the side, and it had these really difficult to press rubber keyboards, but again, completely iconic device from that era. But actually, the computer that I got was not exactly this one. Was the upgraded version, which was the ZX Spectrum Plus, which had a more like real keyboard, was larger, and yeah, was like kind of a more solid machine. Uh, so yeah, I mean, but still, what's that device that I'm showing you? I mean, what's this thing here? Um, so at the same time, I was getting into electronic music. A friend of mine and I, um, you know, and most of my friends actually were listening to electronic bands like Depeche Mode, and you know, the early synth pop music coming out of mostly, I think, the UK. And we were, you know, we started like tinkering around with music, and you know, you know, as we were, you know, we were not, definitely not into rock music. We were into electronic music, and you know, we were computer geeks, and at the same time into all these electronic bands. So you know, what can you know, there's very little that you could do with the with a machine like this. I mean, this machine used to have one channel sound. I mean, you could barely do a beep, and you know, put some parameters to control the frequency, so you could play some notes. So most of the games, even on this thing, you know, used to have, like, you know, these this early kind of, you know, I don't know if you call it 8-bit kind of music, one channel music. Some people were, some really talented programmers were able to address kind of the sound chip in a you know, in very fast intervals, and by that kind of trick the machine into producing two channels of sound. But if you were a little bit more serious about your music and you had the Sinclair Spectrum, you needed one of these, like, you know. So this is an expansion card. This plugs into the back of the computer, actually the memory expansion card, the memory expansion port, sorry, and um, and then suddenly you had something which was, I think I'm not 100% sure, but these looked like MIDI connectors to me. So you could suddenly actually control external MIDI devices. And I think at one point we might have gotten, my friend and I were kind of in an electronic band, and I think we hooked this up to, MIDI devices to generate sound, and this might be, I'm not sure, but this could be like a stereo sound out or something like that, and this was probably a volume control. And I think what this piece of tech here gave us was kind of the ability to generate four channels of sound. So even if you didn't have a MIDI device, you could still generate suddenly four channels of sound, which was, you know, I mean, you had this computer with just one channel of BP sounds, and then suddenly you have four channels, and you know, you could do a bass line, and you can do some percussion on the other one, and then, you know, kind of a melody, and you know, you're in business. Uh, so yeah, so you know, I'm throwing out a lot of my junk here in the office, but I think this one here, this device I'm keeping, because I mean, this is a complete reminder of my teenage years and my interest in music, which still kind of persists today. And um, my son is now, you know, learning the guitar and learning all many other instruments and so on. You know, he asked for a MIDI keyboard to hook up to his PC for his birthday. So, you know, kind of finding these things in old boxes is, uh, is really like a trip down a long forgotten time. So anyway, yeah, that's the test of the live stream. If anybody knows, you know, what happened to this company, if anybody, you know, from that generation remembers, you know, this kind of device, uh, and you know, these kinds of computers, and you know, and the music that you used to be able to do with them, you know, let me know in the comments if anybody actually sees this. I'm not sure. I'm streaming live, and you know, it feels very strange and important. I don't know if anybody is listening or watching. Uh, anyway, I'm also interested to see how this old webcam of my cinema display, you know, what kind of image it can give. I have some kind of semi pro camera, but for this client, we want to test we want to test a webcam setup just to keep things simple. I'm using a good mic, so I hope the audio is okay. I'm using OBS for the first time, and that's how I can switch between, you know, all these different things. Yeah. Um, Also learning about NDI, amazing technology that, you know, basically I'm shooting this here with my iPhone. Uh, so, you know, you have a multiple camera setup, you know, just like that, with the existing equipment that you have. Very cool. So, see you. Bye.